episode of Two Smooth Operators, the only podcast about gate operator life for technicians. Your hosts, Michael Brooks and Robert Evers. Stay tuned for another great episode. Oh, yeah, another great episode of Two Smooth Gate Operators. Oh, let's talk on this.
What'd you mess up, man?
I hit the button to stop it, then it replayed it. But
Oh,
you know.
what's going on, man?
Oh man, I'm chilling in my camper at White Lake, North Carolina, having a good time,
How
watching it
many people?
rain.
How many people you got up in there now? About 15, 20,
I got about 25.
25.
Yeah.
Let the whole family up in there. I need to come see you, man. I heard you got a big announcement for this weekend.
Oh yeah.
What are you about to turn?
44.
Ooh, goodness gracious.
44.
The big 4-4. Well,
Yeah.
that's cool, man. What are y'all planning to do?
Well, the next weekend after the 23rd of February, my birthday, we're gonna go to North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm like an hour away from there, so I normally go there every year for my birthday.
Next weekend
Yeah.
or this weekend?
Well, the weekend after.
2 weeks.
Yeah. The
Got-
28th, 27th,
Oh,
28th.
gotcha. Oh, that's right. I think we talked about that because I got class
Yeah.
next week. Yeah, if anybody wants to learn access control and you're in the Duluth, Georgia area, or you want to get in that area, let me know. I've got access control class. We're gonna be doing door keying,
Yeah.
lift
And
master,
I've been
cellgate.
reading Facebook all week and there's a lot of several different posts every week saying where can I go learn how to do gate operators, but the biggest one is where can I learn how to repair them? And I don't know but one. That's you, because
Yeah.
there's a difference in repairing them and installing them new. Installing them new, you got a book and you're laying things out. But when you pull up on one, you don't know what's wrong with it. Well, that's where your expertise come in, I think.
Yeah, and it's really almost a separate class, and I'm trying to keep those things as economical as possible. Has been my thought, and that means that we have to take kind of all comers. There's no prerequisites, so we have to teach to people who have not done this before and people who have been doing it for longer than I have,
Yeah.
and it's definitely been a tough road since I've been doing it. I think the best thing that I could come up with, which I haven't been able to accomplish just yet, is actually doing stuff online before they get to the class. So, like when I say, "Hey, grab, your multimeter," you actually know what a multimeter is. The big one that we had in the last how to install LiftMaster class, unauthorized how to install LiftMaster class, was what's a loop, right? So we
Hmm.
started talking about loops and stuff like that, and there's like 3 or 4 people that were like, you know, wanting to know what a loop was.
Yeah.
So this is not to give the people who asked that question a hard time, because it's a valid question in a how-to class. Um, we had Adam, where I work, had already built some sample loops, and on, like, I don't know, 3x3 pieces of wood, and then just wrapped them around, which is
Hmm.
great for demonstration. And the question was, like, what do you do with the wood when you're out there installing it? And it's just like, hey, we're simulating what the loops are doing. You're not actually putting the loops on wood. You're saw cutting them into the ground or direct burying them before the concrete goes. So yeah, that diagnostic one is tough because we only cover just a little bit of it. We don't do everything.
Well, there's
So
so much to diagnostics. I mean, it's more than one thing that could be wrong with an operator, or gate. That's not working properly or the operator. Something can be simple that's loose or not connected right, and then you'll go through all the steps of going through everything, and you finally find the problem. So
Well, you're having your tech go out there, and you're kind of assuming that everything is installed properly,
yeah,
and that's not necessarily the case. I was at a
mm-mm.
gate operator the other day. The technician was out there, and the chain bracket was about 2 feet higher than where it needed to be. And the complaint is that although this time the gate was closed, was that people were hitting the gate. And it's like, well, you can't, if the chain bracket's 2 feet higher than it needs to be, you're not going to be able to retract the gate all the way out of the drive, or you're going to bust either wheel, bust a chain, or something like that. Anyways, that gate had a lot of problems, and sometimes you just got to tell the customer, man, we have to get it up to a certain level
Yeah,
before we even test to see what's wrong.
yeah,
Um,
and some
which is tough.
customers don't understand that either.
Well, sometimes the office doesn't even understand it as
Yeah,
well, too. You explain to them like, hey, let the customer know when you're doing the paperwork that we still need to test the gate operator. We're just fixing the gate stuff. We could actually get into the gate operator and find that because it got hit, now that it's under a working load, that there's issues as well there too. Um, Now, would you agree that something I've said a bunch of times is that we are no longer in a repair society? We are in a replace society. Would you agree that replacing the arm, replacing the control board, replacing the motor, those types of things kind of get you to where you need to be in the diagnostic process?
yeah. It was like I did this job this past week where I installed it 15 years ago, a gated community, and this is the third time I replaced the motors, the
Mm.
operators, and I know I can
What,
rebuild them. I could replace
what's
every
what?
part on it, but they're expecting it to work with no problems, and they want to pay to have everything going with no problems. So I'm like, well, let's replace them and then go from there.
At least you get a factory warranty for it,
Yeah,
and then
that's the main thing is the
isn't it?
factory warranty.
Yeah, because if I repair something like for a long time, those elite control boards, those SL 3000 and CSW 200 control boards, uh,
Hmm.
there would be a relay that would go bad, and it wouldn't allow the gate to open and close the motor. I guess it was the main
Yeah,
relay for
but
the motor.
on this set of gates though, this is the third company. So I've dealt with three companies at the same location.
Mm.
So that's why I was able to replace it. Maybe if the same customer had it, he'd be like, "Nah, just get them going." But so far, it's turned out well. Let's just put new ones there because these gates open. I mean, a lot. So
Yeah, I I used to. That was about the only thing that we would repair is those small types of things, like maybe a bridge rectifier. Now that they're all, now that DC is becoming more popular, and
yeah,
the bridge rectifier is not on the board. But other than that, man, we're not repairing anything at the component level. We're just
yeah,
replacing the board,
yeah,
and giving them a new warranty.
and
Once you explain to them that there's no guarantee that this is going to work if I repair it, if we even knew how to repair it. Shit.
and then I did a mini storage. Um, I installed a Viking H10. This was probably 8 years ago, and they had problems with power issues. The way the 120 voltage was hooked up, they finally fixed all that, and then the transformer went out. And so when I called my supplier, he said, "You just want the EMI board?" I was like, "No, I don't want just the board. I want that whole box with the transformer in it. Because if I replace that board and then I put the new one in, and then
Mhm.
plug it all back in. No power comes out of the transformer because I've had that happen before. I'm like, no, just give me the whole box and I can put it in, wire it up, and took off.
Yeah, you end up there's a certain extent to where the labor becomes the dominant factor on whether you're going to repair or replace, and then you do all that stuff without a guarantee. Most of the times, customers aren't going to appreciate the fact that you tell them, "Well, I'm going to repair this, or I'll do this, but I can't warranty it." So if it's bad,
Yeah.
we got to start from scratch, and you're not getting any of that money back.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what my most of my customers have agreed to. So that's kind of what you're thinking out there too. When you replace a board, a control board, and a motor or an actuator arm, I mean that's for the most part it. I mean you might have a secondary cable or something like that. I know
Mm-hmm.
that where I work now, there's been a couple of times where it's actually been that, not the actual motor itself.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah. A
seems
lot
like
of
to me that
times
that's
with
the
with
diagnostic part is just
yeah.
replacing it and see how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with that. You know, and the gate industry is kind of changing too because um, I'm starting to see where in my area the garage door companies used to maintain gates where they're not maintaining them no more. And I'm thinking, with that being said, that there's a good opportunity to be doing the repair work because the garage door companies don't charge a whole lot of money, and they really don't do like a whole lot of repairs on the operator. They replace the operator and put a new one up for 650 or whatever, versus just putting a little part in there. And then I think what has happened, they transferred that same price model to the gate operators, and it doesn't work.
Mm-mm. No,
Does not
not
work.
no, it doesn't work because everything's different. It's not a matter of just bolting it up there,
Yeah.
where you have on a garage door opener. You could work for 15 minutes just on one bolt trying to get it out of the ground, and
Yes.
then
Thank
once you
you.
get it out of the ground, or you determine you got to cut it off, then guess what? Now you got to weld a little tab on there so you can
Mm-hmm.
put the new bolts on the other one. So it's just every job is different. Would you agree with that to a certain
A
extent?
hundred percent. Every one I go on is different. It,
Everyone's different.
it's crazy how everyone can be different.
I know that how many different types of installs can you have, but
It's like
it,
I had the LA 400, and it was a new install, lightning hit, and I had two of them beside each other, two different customers, neighbors. They got a lightning problem. We talked about it.
yeah.
Um, the first one it hit, the lightning hit the neighbor on the left, and it blew up the transformer to the mag lock. And then the neighbor didn't even touch it. Then the next time lightning hit, it blew up the transformer to the LA 400 board and
Hmm.
didn't touch the mag lock, and they're both plugged into the same outlet
Hmm.
inside the panel there. And then on the neighbor, it blew out. I thought it blew out the board. Well, yeah, it did blow out the board because it kept blowing the fuse. So I just
Hmm.
got the board, and so when I put the new board in, I had to order another part for the ID harness, and
Yeah.
all that is a resistor to the reset switch.
Yeah.
And so I ordered that, put it in, and it took off working. I've never done that before. I'm like, this is the first.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I caused a little bit of trouble when I was talking about ground rods and all that stuff the other day because I've kind of got like an opinion on it that people don't want to hear, which is what we do for ground rods according to the NEC National Electric Code, and I'm not really the dude that's qualified to go in depth about the NEC. I've just read these small little parts of how it applies to us. Um, that the NEC, which is NFPA 70, National Fire Protection Association 70, which is the NEC National Electric Code, which is adopted throughout the United States, modified and changed and things of that nature in different municipalities, uh, doesn't have anything to do with the lightning protection systems, which are listed in NFPA 780. And I'm still having people saying, and actually it's in the automatic manual, that you run the risk if you don't install a ground rod to not have the same lightning protection. And I want a manufacturer to tell us why are we installing ground rods? If the equipment is already grounded at the main circuit panel, and or the only circuit panel that it's hooked up to for it to be a branch circuit, then we have safety covered, and putting a ground rod in there doesn't clear a fault.
No.
So even if it does short to the chassis and there's a ground fault, it doesn't clear a fault. So, and it's not for lightning protection. So why is it? So, Jeremy from Nice, he
Yes.
uh, he was kind enough to actually reply to my post, because I was just like, any manufacturers that are out there, um, if you could tell us why we do it, it would be great. So I figured it'd be cool to listen to his reply.
Yeah, let's hear
Um,
it.
let's see what he's got to say.
It's roast. It's obviously first thing in the morning, and the engineers aren't even in the office yet.
I'd asked everybody, any manufacturer out there, if they could get us an engineer on the phone, it would be great. So that's why you mentioned engineers aren't available right now.
On the West
Okay.
Coast, so I haven't had a chance to talk to them. But I figured I'd give you my nickel's worth to at least start a conversation. And I'm doing it in video so that it doesn't get misinterpreted as being critical, or because there's a lot of keyboard warriors, right? So I don't want to come across as one of those.
Shit, I'm pretty freaking sensitive, but goddamn, I wish some of these manufacturers would be critical, you know? Like, hey, what you're saying is wrong. You need to stop saying that shit. And that's not what he's saying here, but it would be nice for one of these manufacturers to be like, this is why we install it, this is why you got to do it, and that's it. But
Yeah.
so I thought it was pretty cool that he comments. Listen. It's only a minute long. So let's listen what he's got to say.
Anyway, I think there's a couple of different things going on here, and I don't claim to understand everything because I'm obviously not one of the electrical engineers, but so I want to kind of start. There's a few different points that you made in there. I want to kind of run through them real fast. So generators that talk about, and I made some notes because I can't remember everything like you do. All the numeric call outs for the code and stuff like that. Generators that say don't drive a ground rod, I think they're talking about portable generators, and that's NEC 25034.
So I mentioned whole home generators, so there was a little bit of confusion, and I'll bring up a little diagram here in a second to show what I was talking about. But those 2 points weren't the same.
Bonded systems that aren't tied to premises wiring. So I think that's a specific situation, and not a permanent installation. I could be wrong. I'm just giving you what I think, or I can find. So then the equipment grounding for gate operators, tied back to the panel, is about like a hot wire falling to the chassis or something like that. You want to have that trip a breaker. It won't clear. A ground rod wouldn't clear faults or anything like that. I think you mentioned that the soil resistance is too high, and that's accurate, right? Like that's not what it's about. It's about tripping breakers and clearing faults and that sort of thing for that tie back to it. The rod of the operator, though, is a different thing. You know how a transformer, and this is, again, just my understanding, you know how a transformer works on inductance. So there's that fence line and the other metal around there that can pick up inductance in lightning strikes. So it's not necessarily about the direct current itself. It's about the inductive current that pulls in. So you use a ground rod to get rid of that. It's about potential equalization and uh, surge behavior, not so much about like taking the lightning itself to ground, right? Or preventing lightning to there. And let's be real, I've been in a house that was struck by lightning, and it'll blow the telephone right off the wall. So if you get a direct strike on an operator, things probably toast anyway. So it's not really about that. And then the last thing was like the CNC machines. You brought up the CNC machines, and the only thing I can find, and again, I may be missing something, but that's more about signal ground and noise control, like EMI. It's not about surge suppression or anything like that either. So that's why they were saying something about like not grounding or grounding differently CNC machines. So they found a couple of different things, but I'm not for sure what you're talking about exactly. But I'm interested in digging into this a little bit deeper, and I'll try and talk to the engineers as soon as they get in. That's my 2 cents worth.
So I thought that was I thought that was pretty cool that he did reply to it, but there was one other thing that was kind of different than what I was saying, which was but he could have read that this wasn't about the grounding stuff was not about signal integrity. So it was about the problems that they were having with blowing up computers during each lightning storm. And for anybody who's interested, it looks like it's on this forum. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But anyways, so I know you have experience with that. So do you recall anything from back in your day when you were having to deal with this with the electrical systems that you were dealing with in the plants, or not plants, but the
this was I got a school maintenance shop. It's a big maintenance shop, and they got 3 gates out there, and we got one gate that has a ground rod and has surge protector on it. And one year it kept blowing the fuse and blew the board one couple times. And we ain't had a problem in over a year and a half now. So I don't know. But they would tell me, I think one time a storm got it, but the next time the power went off and they turned it back on and it got a surge and it messed it up then. So, you know, it's not 100% protection, but it's there to help protect it if something does happen.
Sorry, I got oh man. All right. Well, I was going to pull this thing up. Well, you were saying that you actually did some where you put fencing around tower.
Yeah, when I did the tower jobs.
And what would they have to do to come out there and make sure everything was right?
The wire has to be 3 feet in the ground, and it goes around the inside of the perimeter of the fence, all the way around the whole fence, 3 feet down. Then it goes to each corner post, each gate post, and then it goes to then you go to 2 line posts on each side, and then they'll take that tester, hook it up to the ground to the tower, and then it stretched out about 60, 100 feet, whatever, how far it stretches out, and it tests the load on it. And there's a certain reading it had to have. I can't remember because it's been so long and I'm just not into it no more. But
yeah.
And if it didn't read right, let's say they didn't run one wire to the line post and it didn't read right, well, you had to take a 6-foot rod, drive it beside the post, and then you CAD welded it to it. Copper to steel. You use a mold, and then and you would put that rod in there until it got the right reading.
Gotcha. Yeah, that I'd love to see that process. I've seen it on TV, but I'd love to see it in my
Yeah.
house. So
It
this
was
is
cool. It's easy. It's not real hard to do. It's just it's real easy to do. But
well, I brought my I bought a ground rod tester, which tests the resistivity of the earth, if you will, and the system that's going through it. I don't know if you saw the picture that I took, but so here's what I was referring to in regards to the generator. I was not talking about portable generators. So
mhm.
this is a non-separately derived system, meaning that they don't actually switch over the neutral and putting a ground rod there, or what they have a name for it, like ground electrode, blah blah blah. But
Yeah, they
anyway,
got a
just call
proper
it a ground
name.
rod, because you can also have the pipe of the building, the UFER, the rebar, all that stuff actually be your electrode. But an auxiliary electrode isn't required by the NEC. If one is installed, it may cause equipment failure by providing a path for lightning to travel through the electronic equipment. And this is the perfect, by the way, this is MikeHolt.com. I bought several of his books. Is really, really, really cool because he does these cool graphics. When you buy the other shit from the NFPA, it doesn't have graphics. They're not worried about trying to explain it to you. These are explanations. So if you hit a lightning strike, if you have a lightning strike that hits the ground 500 feet away, as it gets uh, closer to this ground rod, it can grab onto the ground rod, and then because it's connected to the chassis of this generator. Again, this is not switching over the neutral. This is just switching over the hot. It does not need a ground rod, according to what this says up here, and may cause a problem. But what happens is that electricity flows through the ground rod, through the ground lug to the chassis. And because that's tied into, in this case, the transfer switch, and that's tied into system ground, you've basically just created another path for an electric strike. And then in that stage, the electromagnetic pulse, the magnetic field that is created when you energize a conductor, and because that's so high, it can damage the electronics that's in it. And you may never even see it. You may never see a burn hole or anything like that. I
Oh,
would
there's
imagine
plenty
the
of
burn holes are
times
because,
where you don't see no
it hits it
damage at all.
directly. What's that?
There's plenty of times where you don't see no damage at all.
Right. So that's probably where you're having something like this, where it's the magnetic field that's generated being so close to that circuitry that it damages it. And there's actually a pretty cool video, if you ever want to look it up, where Steve Wozniak from Apple has like a 15-minute video from back in the 70s, where he's talking about electrostatic discharge, which I'm not saying that that's what this is, but just how sensitive it can be to
Well,
equipment.
my dad
So
would always say it's the static from the lightning.
there you go. Well, he seems like in certain circumstances that's 100% correct. So this is what's interesting as well too. This is the way that me personally I'm looking at a gate operator. So effective ground fault path 250.4, and again, I am not the expert in this. I'm not an NEC expert. I'm not qualified as a apprentice, a technician, a journeyman, or an electrician. So this is what I'm trying to figure out, to find out why we're installing ground rods. And in this case, could it actually cause an issue because it gives path for lightning to travel through the electronic equipment? And that right there, to me, that's the same system as a gate operator. There is absolutely no difference. In my opinion, we have a concrete pad. It's separate from physically, not whether we're switching the hot or the neutral.
Mhm.
Because this is completely different. This is actually a power system that actually goes over to a transfer switch which then powers the house when there's no power. But what's the difference between this path and if we tie in onto a gate operator that goes back to the ground of the system? And in my opinion, it's no different. And what I'm thinking, that people are thinking that there's some kind of safety or something along those lines that this is covering. And when you look at it, this is a perfect example that the earth is not permitted to serve as a required effective ground fault current path, and equipment grounding conductor per 250.118 is required to be installed at all circuits. So what they're showing you is that you just have a hot and a neutral here, and that the lightning pole is not grounded to the service. It's just grounded to an a ground rod. So if this gets energized, if the light pole gets energized, you're fucked,
Yeah.
because there's no way for this is not intended to clear that fault. So you could easily touch this light pole and get hurt. And it says ground rod installed at a light pole serves no code safety purpose, but is permitted in 250.154. Basically, what that's saying is just like, yeah, you can do it, and it basically tied into the system ground. You can do it, but it's not serving a safety purpose. So anyways, I'll just go through this real quick because this is kind of boring, but it can cause equipment failure. Auxiliary ground electrode can cause equipment failure by providing a path for lightning to travel through the equipment. And that could be a CNC machine. It could be any type of machine whatsoever. And this is the other thing too. This is just the math behind it. You still have voltage when you have a 25 ohm ground rod, does not clear the fault path. If you touch that, you still got 90 volts of electricity going through you, and it could shock the shit out of you. So anyways, that's all on Jeremy's reply. I put all that shit on there,
Also,
including another
I
video.
when I tell my customers, if there's a bad storm coming, like a hurricane or a big snowstorm that we're not accustomed to, open your gates, turn them off, turn the battery off, turn the power off to them, and then when the storm blows over, turn them back on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just want somebody to tell us why we're installing ground rods, because in some cases
That's a selling point, really.
it's not an easy process. For me, the only reason why I'm installing ground rods is so the manufacturer will warranty the shit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But if, according to the 2 or 3 things that I just showed you, proves that there's not safety intent there, and provided that the equipment's grounded back to the service panel on a branch circuit, and it could cause problem. There were 2 things in there that it just showed you saying that this could cause another path. There's my buddy Mark Jackson. He
What's up, Mark?
he is a co-worker of mine over at ECA.
Okay.
And,
Georgia boy.
Yeah, another Georgia boy. So, anyways, if that right there, that one PDF doesn't break down several things as far as safety goes, then electrodes right here have no code requirement because they serve no safety related. There's 2 spots where it may provide another path for lightning to travel through, and it could cause provide a path, could cause equipment failure. So just putting a ground rod in. Now, it's not to say that it's shouldn't be bonded to the building and all of that other stuff for signal integrity, but it is not lightning protection. It is not absolutely 100% not lightning protection. So just be careful. So anyways, there's that. And then here I referenced in there the article, the white paper that I was talking about. And as you can see right here, the ground rods and where they're talking about grounding and bonding to the system was not about, they mentioned signal integrity here, but that's not what the article is about. it's pretty freaking clear that they're saying that there could be issues in regards to ground rods. When manufacturers require an additional ground rod recoded to a CNC machine, end users are responsible to assure that the installation meets code requirements. So basically what that's saying is whatever the manufacturer says, you've got to do, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But too often this ground rod, which may be incorrectly thought of as isolated and dedicated to the CNC machine and from otherwise noisy building ground, is not bonded to the building electrical system for a typical but unsafe effort to isolate the CNC ground. That creates electric shock hazard and is a violation of NEC. So people need to read this stuff so they could figure out whatever they could say. It's beyond the extent besides the manufacturer's standpoint. Sorry, Brooks. Mark's absolutely right. Whatever the manufacturer says, do, because at the end of the day, they're going to be the ones that say, hey, we're not warranting whatever you said, whatever you installed. So anyways, are you aware that Automatic has discontinued the SL100 AC and the SL150 AC?
I don't care.
I do care because they were a great alternative cost wise for when you needed a big badass gate operator. You don't
Yeah,
care
I
because
don't
you're
like AC.
okay. Fair enough. I don't disagree with you to a certain extent because a lot of people are expected it to work when there's no power.
Mhm.
But I like the ACs because they were cheap and they were
Yeah.
reliable.
Well,
So
I'm not cheap.
well, I won't go that far. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. So the reason
Yeah.
why I pulled the manual up is or pulled the website up is because we've been running into a couple solar installations, and there was a
Mhm.
solar repair that one of the technicians went out on, and I had to give him my meter so he could so I could have it already set up for being able to test short circuit current. And he went out there and did that. And we found that the panel had more than what the voltage was rated at, but it
Mhm.
had no current whatsoever.
Mhm.
So if you guys are testing solar systems, you need to know how to test short circuit current because that's all that matters. So, and that's just my opinion. Um, and that's also the truth as well too. It's not just my opinion.
Mhm. Yeah.
So if you have issues like what we have here in Atlanta is we have a lot of trees, and you guys got a lot of trees out there too, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I don't even do solar, so
And why don't you do solar?
it's a waste of time, in my opinion.
Just because you think that you're going to have a lot of service calls?
Well, I just want them to have power. There's not really a much price difference.
Okay, I could see some situations where that's not the case, to where gets expensive to run out there. But um,
Yeah, but you
I
don't need
don't
a
want
gate
people to.
then.
What's that?
If you don't need a gate,
Is that what your selling technique is?
yeah,
If
you
you
don't
can't
need a
get
gate.
power, you
If you
don't need
got
a
a
gate.
Mercedes Benz, you got a brand new 2500 Chevrolet, and you saying you don't have the money to run the power, then you don't have the money to have a gate to service it,
Well,
keep it up.
that's fair enough. And
That's BS. Because I ain't against solar, but then you got to make sure you got a keypad that works with it. You got the photo eye turns off. Well, what about if you want to put safety loops in it and stuff like that? And I just assume just run the power out there and be done with it.
I don't disagree with you, and you can make quite a bit of money off running power because I charge $27 a foot to install it at the proper depth with underground feeder cable, which is not required if you're putting it in conduit. Just a direct burial or THHN or THWN, I think is
Yeah.
okay if it's in conduit and underground as well too. It's water resistant, just not direct burial rated. But whatever
I'm
it
just
is,
sick and tired of these people trying to save money on everything. Gosh,
but
I
I,
want the mighty mule. I want, that's when you put yourself in that bracket with the mighty. I know the solar works. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but most of the time, my customers wanting something to work all the time and all that, and the way you bypass running a long power line is you put a power meter out there.
yeah,
And
that's fair enough. But sometimes the or the service provider will will um, charge you to put a meter out there and a
so
separate meter.
so I'm not paying for it.
Well, that's actually a good point. You don't buy with your wallet; you buy with the customer's wallet.
Like
So
I said, if they
we,
want a gate, they got to pay for it. They want a fence, they got to pay for it. If they want a certain type of fence, they got to pay for it.
hey, that's
That
fair enough.
that's where I'm at on that. But I understand there's situations where you got to have solar and stuff. I'm not
And
stupid,
but
but
is it also fair to say that you have a service part of your business as well too? So sometimes you got to work on solar whether you installed it or not.
no, there's no solar where I'm at all.
Well, goddamn, you killing every point that I'm trying to make, man. So Mark said, if
Well,
we aren't,
it's a fact, you know.
well, no, hey, that's true. That's probably why there's not very much solar out here as well because you just have so many trees. Um, and
When I was putting solar in, the problem I was having is we get a lot of rain, we get a lot of clouds,
yeah,
and when you get 3 days of clouds, and then you use that gate operator a lot, batteries go dead. This was 12, 15 years ago,
yeah,
and the batteries would go dead, and I'd go buy a marine battery, whatever, get another solar panel, and had the same issues. And then I told the customer, I was like, look, just run up. You bought a $250 battery. I don't even know how much it costs now. And then you bought a solar panel. You could have hired an electrician to run you a wire out here. Maybe a couple $100 more, or maybe $1,000. Who cares? But you'll get more service out of electrical line than a solar panel.
right on. Well, Marcus saying we shouldn't install solar when we know if it's going to be a problem, and then he was saying that it's a callback.
Yeah,
I don't.
and it's a callback, and the customers complaining and they're upset.
Yeah, and that's what it ends up being, right? You end up looking bad anyway. The point that I'm trying to make is twofold. First of all, is if you're going to have a service department, at some point in time, you're going to need to know how to test solar. All
Yeah.
right. So understand how to test solar, that it's not just a matter
Mm,
of just going out there and testing voltage. Voltage, if the panel is correctly uh, rated for that installation, voltage doesn't matter. You cannot have current without voltage. So if you test your current and you have proper current, then provided again that the panel is rated for that system, then
mm,
you don't have to worry about voltage. I'm not saying don't check it. I'm just saying short circuit current is all you care about. That's the only way that it does work. And you need to know how to test it on the system and off the system. So, anyways,
yeah.
Mark and I, he brought up a couple of good points about how I was being kind of a dick when I was talking about solar at work. But in the way
He's
that I was
always a
saying it,
dick.
I just know that it's a service call. I guess that's what pisses me off is like you're gonna have to go back to the job, right? So
Yeah.
why, and you're gonna piss the customer off.
Now,
So
let me ask you a question real
sure.
quick before you go too far with that. Now, is this going to be on a service contract?
Well, I wouldn't put solar on a service contract unless I knew that the solar panel was getting
Mm,
sunlight all day, every day. So I'm sure
mm,
that the
mm,
salesperson are offering service contracts to them, um, whether they're electrical or AC. Why do you ask that?
Well, I'm coming up with a service contract for what we do, but when we got one, I got it in the truck. But
Yeah, I just always had the only batteries that I ever covered. So, anyways, that's really what it comes down to is the batteries, right? The
yes,
only thing that I covered on the batteries were remote batteries. So, if you had a
hmm
scheduled service contract with me, and unless it was just what our lowest one was, which was the lube and leave, which is lubricate the chain, lubricate the wheels, lubricate the limit shaft, blow everything out, and put ant killer out. For the most part, I covered the batteries, those types of batteries, but never did I cover uh, backup batteries or solar panel batteries.
yeah,
It wasn't part of it because they are guaranteed that they're going to go out.
yeah.
So
Them batteries can come bad straight from the factory sometimes.
yeah, that's true as well too. But the twofold part that I wanted to talk about, Mark was talking about how his concerns for solar, because you're going to go back,
Yeah,
and he's also talking about lithium batteries as well too. So that's actually a good point about lithium. I guess that kind of falls into what I'm talking about. Is if you're going to do solar panels, there's a couple of things that I would highly recommend in addition to knowing how to fucking test them would be the number one thing. Second
yeah,
thing is whatever you can do to alleviate getting more than one solar panel, I highly recommend.
yeah,
If they're not installed properly, and I think some manufacturers are actually including protection in the harnesses. But if they're not installed properly, one panel, if you will pull down the other panel. It's kind of like
yeah.
putting a battery that's
hmm
at 12 volts along in series with a battery that's 12.8 volts. You
Yeah,
have, in essence, a dead battery on one, and putting the battery that
yeah,
has the appropriate voltage on it is just going to pull down to where you end up
yeah.
with
And that
12.3 or
makes
something like that.
sense with
What's
that
that?
makes sense with anything because it's like say for my instance, I got a Yamaha speaker and I got a JBL speaker.
Okay.
Well, guess what? One of them's gonna sound different from each other. The
Right.
have
And
having the
be-
same uh matching parts is very important.
yeah, and in the speaker part of it, I would just say as long as the resistance rating is the same, you're not going to run into any issues with your amp as far as that goes. But to that point, you have to keep in mind that I would narrow down multiple solar panels, and it has nothing to do with whether it works or not. Multiple solar panels work no problem, no matter what. That's the way all
Yeah,
of the PV stuff that's out there works. Is you have more than one solar panel to give power to the grid. However, for our purposes, it's the same reason why I don't recommend new technicians installing edges, is because every time that I've ran into an edge issue, it has always been installation. It has not been
yeah,
malfunction with the edge or the wireless edge transmitter receiver. It's always been
yeah,
installation. Same thing with solar panels. When you're putting in multiple solar panels, in addition to size, orientation, angle, and position, you have to keep in mind that if you don't put protection in between them, or the manufacturer doesn't include protection in between them, that you could have one panel drag down the other during certain times of the day just because the sun is not hitting them the same. And it doesn't take much for them to be wrong. So, anyways, I wanted to bring that up. And then the other thing that I would wanted to say was be very careful with buying panels off Amazon. Mark was saying,
no,
yeah, just bring up the LiftMaster Dual 35 amp hours, which come with two solar panels. Yeah. Well, Mark, that's a different story. I mean, it's not something that I would recommend. I'm not a big fan of that kit to begin with, just because of the cost. The LiftMaster solar kit comes with two panels.
hmm
So You don't need to.
Well,
If you can get away with it, don't do 2 panels. And if you can also get away with it, don't buy the kit that comes from LiftMaster.
well,
Not that
I'm
it's
going to invent a gate that runs off of hydrogen, so we won't need none of that shit.
I think you need to talk to Brian Fredrickson over at Fence Workers Association. He keeps on talking about that too. So, anyways,
Or we
the
could get
part
it run off of propane.
I don't know why propane is so efficient. I've always been interested in why propane engines just start right up without having to warm them up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, the panels off Amazon, you will probably find a solar panel off Amazon that is just as reliable, durable, has the same amount of quality as it does with the panels that come from the manufacturers. However, the panels are getting smarter and they will have charging capability built into the panel. And
Yeah.
that is a problem for some of our systems. You have to, and that's what I have up here. If that's the case, one, don't buy it. But if for whatever reason, and this happened when I was in Las Vegas, if you do accidentally buy one, you need to make sure that you're wiring it separate from the manufacturer's control board, because the control board itself has a charge control capability built into it to
Yeah.
charge the batteries, and you don't want two of them hooked up at once.
Why is
So
that?
you don't want, because you have the you said, why is that, right?
Yeah. Why? What's
Okay,
the reason?
so the charge controller is going to do several things before it actually starts to charge the battery. So first of all, it's going to do is check polarity. The second thing that it's going to do is actually see what the charge of the battery is, and it might do some other things as well too, such as pulse the battery to maintain it or break up the sulfation that's on the plates, depending upon what type of battery it is, still lead acid or lithium or whatever. But the other thing is, while it's doing that, the other charge controller that's also now in line with it on the manufacturer's control board is not going to let those types of things pass, because it's trying to do the same thing. So the charge controller that's on the solar panel will never see that there's batteries there, because it is being blocked, if you will, by the control board that the gate operator manufacturer has. So you don't hook in essence, that's what you're doing. You're hooking two charge controllers in series with each other, and the electronics, the software, aren't going to figure out what's going on. So
Mm,
the other part of that is you can get a smarter controller than what's actually built onto this. Sometimes you're limited by the power. So in this particular case, we're looking at um, the solar panel connection for the new automatic boards, which I'm a big fan of. You still like those?
oh yeah, I love them. The one I just installed, I used a 7-day timer and all that on. They work great.
That's what I was going to ask you is, are you using? That's actually why one of the things I was going to talk about today. But then when I started the solar panel thing, I
We'll,
thought,
we'll still
well,
talk
let's talk
about it.
about that. Mark just says need to run 120 volts, but you see right here where it says capacity
Amen, brother.
says charging circuit supports up to 80 watts. Well, there might be times when you need to go past that. And if you do, that's when you need to worry about this external solar system installation setup, because you are trying to get more power than what the control board will handle. Or if you buy a smart solar panel, and I'm not calling them smart because it's just marketing, in my opinion, it's the lowest inexpensive components that they put on the back of these solar panels. So it's not worth it to buy these panels. Just buy a dumb panel.
Maybe we can get these gates to run off of air, like an air compressor in the house or something, and you run
Well,
your
I've
air
got enough
line
hot
to it.
air, so it's quite possible that I do need to do that. So, but I'll make it short. I found this charge controller that one of the technicians went out and used. And I thought it was pretty interesting because what it has the ability to do is log over time the trends of what the voltage and current, therefore the wattage, actually is on it. But that having the ability to know what the current is and being able to log
Yeah.
that over time just gives you the understanding. Okay, I know I have sealed lead acid batteries, and they're supposed to get a full charge by being charged all day, every day. And to your point, when you have rain, my point to when we have trees, you're not getting that. So you need to know what's happening with your solar panels. Unfortunately, you've done bought all the equipment, the solar panels and all that shit, and now found out that it doesn't work. So you're kind of screwed. But anyways, this charge controller right here was really inexpensive.
Yeah.
This one I think is the step up, but it's like I don't know, $100 or whatever. But it has some really cool things, including it will cut off the um, power going to the control board if the batteries are too low. And it also has an external monitor that you can actually see what the voltage and the current and all of that stuff is. So if that hasn't bored you to death, when you're going to hook up solar panels, make sure you know how to test them. Only try to do one panel. And then if you get into more intricate shit, you might have to go back and use the external solar system installation for the manufacturer. All right. Did that bore you?
Yes.
All
Extremely.
right. Now, let me ask you this. Do you know about the constant pressure override that a KPW 5 or KPW 250 does?
I do not.
So we just did this in class. By the way, I got access control class next week if anybody's interested. Is that you can hook up the open stop close button to a CSL 24 and run it open, run it closed without photo eyes, without edges, without any entrapment device.
Oh, cool.
What I didn't know when I was looking this up, so that's a $600 sale for anybody that's out there. You can buy an open stop close, an external one that has a key switch to it that you put 6 feet away from the gate operator. And if you ever have any problems, you need to get your gate closed. You can use open stop close button and it'll override any entrapment devices. But that's what I was going to ask you about. I did not know that the KPW 5, KPW 250 allowed you to do that. So what I'm assuming is, oh, did I pull the manual up? Oh yeah. So this is it. To use constant pressure override, enter a 4-digit valid pin, 4-digit pin. Press and hold pound for 5 seconds to enter CPO, constant pressure override. Continue to hold pound to keep the gate operator in motion. A continuous tone will sound until the limit is met and or pound is released. The operator will stop when either the operator reaches the limit or the user releases the pound sign. And you brought up a good point. Is that just open or is that open and close? So we'll have to test that out and see.
Yeah, test that out. Let me know.
Well, you're the one that does the LiftMaster videos that get all the damn views. I spend
Well,
like 2 hours on a video, edit and all that stuff, and still your videos get the most views.
well, you got to do a 1 second video and then bam, that's it.
Okay, I'll try to get that. I just got done talking about solar panels
You
for
don't even
30
know what
minutes.
1 second is.
Fuck no. So, anyways, is that meet UL 325? Absolutely, it does meet UL 325. To run a gate operator without entrapment devices, you can run an automatic gate operator without entrapment devices This type D entrapment protection type is what an open stop close constant pressure device actually is. And you are not going to get yelled at by the
And you
keyboard
want to know
warriors.
why? You want to know why that is?
Is because if you fall down and let go, it'll stop.
Well, you're there to control it.
You're there to control it, right? That is correct. You're there to control it. So that's it. Now, let me ask you one thing. This is something Mark was asking, what's your name? It's DJ Evers, Robert Evers
Yes,
on
sir.
Facebook. Let me ask you this. Does party mode, when you do a CSW or CSL or LA400 or LA500,
Yeah.
and you do party mode gate hold open feature,
Yeah.
does it drain more power?
No,
Okay.
because when you put it in party mode, you hit your code and the gate opens. As soon as the gate fully opens and stops, then you hit your code and it turns the timer off. And then when it turns the timer off, it automatically, the LA400 board shuts all the power down, even the photo eyes, because it's going to stay
Oh, okay.
open. And then when you go back the end of the day, that evening, you hit your code, clicks back on, and closes, and it's back on your timer. So all it does is turn the timer off.
Okay.
So it
Yeah,
shouldn't drain your board down at all.
we had a question at work. I'm still going to have to test it out just to make sure.
Yeah.
Mark was telling me the other day that he had it work better on the CSW and CSL than on the LA400. Are you
Well,
able to get party mode to work on the LA400?
100%.
100%. All right. So he needs to learn how to do it better, which is no
Yeah.
surprise.
Well, the main thing is
He didn't know what he's doing.
your antenna. It's got to have a good signal from your wireless keypad to your antenna. And if
Yeah.
you don't extend that antenna, well, you might have trouble.
Well,
Well, the higher the
that
antenna is, the better it works. You know that.
no, I don't necessarily know that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
yes, that's a fact. That antenna, when you extend it up, it works like an umbrella.
I'm the fucking antenna master.
Well,
All
you
right.
should know when you extend them up, you get further range out of them.
So typically, the higher you go, the less obstructions that you have.
That's what I'm talking about. So if you got a
Right.
brick column and you got a
Uh-huh.
box truck and you pull up and you go hit that keypad and it doesn't open.
Fair enough, because there's obstruction in the way.
Yeah.
But you have also seen sometimes where your line of sight is actually below the tree line.
Yeah.
And although that doesn't happen that often,
Yeah.
uh, one of the properties that we have with the company I work right now at ECA, they have that exact same thing. That
I
the
put that antenna 20 foot in the air, bro.
okay, if your
No, I'm
trees are
joking.
if your trees are 50 foot in the air, how's that going to freaking clear it?
I'm gonna take my drone and I'm gonna say, hey, you push this button, and the drone will take the antenna all the way up over the trees.
And
I
that's
said,
it.
then hit your remote.
All right. Hey man, if that's what you want to do, did you? I don't think I did very many. I don't think I haven't put the new video out. These wireless relay, wireless Wiegand devices.
Is that the guy we talked to the
Yeah,
other
that's
day?
right.
I
Yeah,
need
yeah.
you to send me that information. I need his information.
All right, I'll send it to you. But for anybody that's
Explain to me how that works again.
all right, so we're gonna go over this in class next week because you know I got to keep promoting my shit.
Yeah, man. You got to promote yourself. Promote
Got
yourself, people. If you're in business, promote yourself. You got for Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. Promote yourself.
Well, the one thing that you've always been cool is you've always let me promote my shit on here,
I'm
even
all
though you.
about promoting. I'm in the music business, baby.
There you go. So, anyways, there are times when you need to either get past a damaged wire or get someplace where it's not economically feasible to get a wire to.
Okay.
So, what this device does is allows you to transmit a wireless signal, a wireless data signal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can send a wireless data signal from one area to another area. Now, where we were at ECA when we tested this, we were behind a warehouse in a little bit of a valley, and I was still getting just over 30% when I was about 1,500 feet away across the street in between two other warehouses. So, what this allows you to do is to basically take the wireless signal that comes from any type of device that transmits Wiegand data, OSDP, and you can do other protocols as well too, but we'll just stick with those two because as far as for access control, those are the two protocols that we are going to most commonly see out there. So it takes that card number, that remote number, that fob number, and reads it and then sends it wirelessly encrypted over to the receiver. Now, at that stage, it might as well be like you are at the access control panel because then you wire it into the access control panel. The access control panel says, hey, card number 12345, facility code 001 is a good card and he's okay to use it right now. And then what it does on the access control panel is it works like it normally does. It triggers the relay and then sends that relay command over to the master device, right? As you see right here. Oops. So the access control panel, this red panel right here, sends it from here over to the slave device or the receiver, and then it triggers a door. So it basically is just, if you will, in some cases, an extender, in some case, a repair, in other cases, it's just taking that wireless signal and running it from one to the other. Now, if anybody's seen the Surefy systems or Cypress systems or something like that, that's basically what this is. It's just transmitting Wiegand data or OSDP from one side to the other. Now,
so if I got a PDK management system and they got another door and they want to use a card reader and I wanted to open up this door and get permission, would that work?
It will work provided that you have an input on the access control panel that's available and paid for. So it's been a minute since I have done the PDK stuff, and I know they have their gate module. In a PDK type situation or in any manufacturer's type situation, I would take a look at what options that they have as well as looking at this option. Because this is two doors. So you get the benefit of two doors, but those two doors, if you will, on the slave side have to be, relatively not close to each other, but to where it's practical that you don't have to run a whole nother system.
You're not supposed to
So
be saying slave, you're supposed to be saying secondary and primary.
secondary, yeah. So I'll just put a transmitter on this because in essence, that's what it is. So obviously the politically correct part is not hit this. But yeah, when you look at it, that's in essence what this is. It is a receiver as well too, but on the slave side, using their nomenclature, that transmits that data and then receives it back once it's been validated. Now, here's what's really cool about the system is that the antenna is replaceable. So you can put whatever antenna you want on there, and you can relocate it to wherever you want. So this is a reverse SMA connector. Anybody's familiar with antennas, they'll know what that is.
So
And it comes
would
with,
that have to be mount inside a box, or could
so
it be
this is
mounted
not
outside?
weatherproof. Yeah,
It's
it's not
not weather.
weatherproof.
Okay.
So it, and to be honest with you, it's not super small either. So like on a
Yeah.
new CapEx LV, you're probably going to need some Velcro and
So if I was to mount it outside, I would get
yeah,
me like a 6x6 or 8x8 conduit box. Run my wireless. I mean, run my card reader up into that box and hook it up into there with a transformer or whatever to power it. And
yep,
then whenever I use a card, it'll open up that gate. Or maybe it's a keypad.
keypad, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it works with LiftMaster does their Wiegand a little bit different. I'm not sure if it's a timing issue or how they do it, but it works with like LiftMaster and the HID
Okay.
H10301 protocol and
Now,
OSDP and all that stuff.
now let me ask
So
you another question. I don't know
so
if you
hold
know
on,
the answer.
I
Go
just want to
ahead.
stop there for 1 second. So yes, if you put this in a 6x6 box, you just need power. You can also hook your request to exit button up in there if it's a mag lock, and then you can also do your door position sensor. So provided that your access control system can handle all that, and then what I would do is if it's external, I would get an antenna relocation wire and then just run this on the outside of it, kind of like the PDKs, because the
Yeah.
PDKs have
Yeah.
an antenna on the top, right?
Yeah, they got it on the top.
They got on top. So that's what I would do with this. Now, could you run it like that? Here's what's really cool about it is it tells you what the signal strength is here in percentage on
Mm.
both sides, right? So you can actually just hook this up and say, oh, it's at 37%. Put your antenna on the outside, which 37% is fine, or put your antenna on the outside and go, okay, now I've got 70%.
Mhm.
And one's not more reliable than the other per se, because if you have a good percentage, you have a good percentage no matter what. But the relocating it would be obviously if they're like you said, a truck gets in the way or there's rain outside and now the trees have more absorption in it for the RF and all that stuff. But anyways, so
Now,
yeah,
let me ask you another question before you get too far. I got a gate here at White Lake, and it's 100 foot from the house. Now, does it have a latching code? Could could I, if say if I was in the house, could it keep the gate latched open? Does it have that
yeah,
ability?
as long as you're giving it a constant signal on the secondary side. So you can't do anything more than what the access control system can already do. So for instance, if you had a request to exit button where you press it and release it, this system is not going to go, okay, that press and release was a latch. It's only going
Mhm.
to see the press and release and going to give it that command over there. So what you could do is you could have a key twist,
Or a
or you
switch?
could have a light switch or
Mm.
something that latches itself. The other cool thing about it is if the slave side loses power, or possibly the master side as well too. Now that I think about it, I could be wrong about that. But if the slave side loses power, the master side will stay in that latch state until power comes back on, or it gets the signal back and then sees that there's no latch there. So yeah,
Yeah.
you could do that. And as a
So
matter of fact, you could do it just for that. If you just wanted to extend a relay and not extend data or anything like that,
yeah.
you just hook it up to the request to exit on this, on the slave side. You hook it up to the request to exit on that, and then it'll latch whatever's on the other
So
side.
I can put that in his garage and hook a switch up to it because that's basically what he wants. Because I would put the switch on the operator. So if I was to hook that up, because see, I don't the my Q system on at certain distances just doesn't work that great. So,
Gotcha.
and that's what he was looking at, and I was like, well, I haven't had very good experience with that, and he doesn't want to buy the other stuff where you buy a SIM card. He don't want a monthly $20 payment. So
So
maybe that would be something I could use.
So this does the same thing. It doesn't have a monthly payment, and this does connect to Wi-Fi. Okay, it doesn't do any of the data via Wi-Fi, but
I don't care about the data.
I gotcha. But yeah, so that's the only thing that MyQ would offer you is if you're connected to the network wherever you're at in the world, as long as your device is connected to the network, you can control it from wherever in the world. So this device is just local. It doesn't actually hook up to the internet and all that stuff. But they do make access control shit that actually does. And that's what's really cool. This is just one device that they make. Their access control system looks exactly like
We're
this
gonna
too.
have to get him back on the show.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart dude.
Yeah,
Here's their access control system. It looks just like it. But yeah, that's all it is just a wireless system. So there's their door controllers.
hmm
And I guess they call it the Icon and the Icon Pro. So it's a 2-door and a 4-door. So same thing, wireless type setup, nothing complicated or whatever. So
I like it. That's pretty
what
cool.
the hell?
Because see, if you live out in a rural area, that's what you need. And if you don't
Yeah.
want to pay
So
for a SIM card device and have a monthly payment, I mean,
yeah, you
that would work.
still yeah. If you're just trying to do relay control, yeah, you
Yeah,
don't have any sim or anything like
that's
that. You
what
just
most people want. But you couldn't go through the Wi-Fi system. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I don't know what the Wi-Fi capabilities are on the Wegas, on the wireless Wigan one. So what I have been what my understanding of the Wi-Fi capability of it is it's basically just giving you in essence what's going on here. Whether it allows you to release a relay or anything like that, I'm not
Yeah,
100%
yeah.
sure. I don't think it does, but it has a Wi-Fi mode. The button is down here next to the USB in, which you can use as backup power. It affects your range and all that stuff. The other thing about this is with the screen, what's really cool is it'll tell you your last 2 tag reads. So it's 100% for sure. It shows you what it is. Whereas some of these systems, even the test equipment doesn't show you what the card is. So it literally, if you wanted to just use this as a card tester, because I know that you've had that happen at times where people don't know what the remote number is for their apartment complex. I don't
Oh
think you
yeah.
deal with databases that much on apartment complexes, do you?
Not no more. Basically, I got a few of them out there, but no,
So
not a whole lot.
every once in a while you'll get to where a system you're turning it over to another system. You're taking it from a linear to a LiftMaster or linear to a Cellgate or something like that,
Yeah.
and the property has no idea what the remotes are. You can literally just hook up a WOR to this, and it'll show you what the remote number is on the screen. So, anyways, it's pretty cool. But the fact that it's 2 channels, it's got the screen, and the antenna, you can fucking put a new freaking antenna on it. That is what I like, because if you look at their video, if you go to their website, they have a video to where they went 25 miles away or something like that in an
Yeah.
airplane across the
hmm
Canadian border, and they were still getting good reception. And the way that they did that was they used another antenna, 2 different types of antennas.
Yeah.
So that's what Andre gave me this for, was for me to put it up at um, to be able to test it out and use it. I have a system at the ECA that we'll be able to use as well too for class. So,
Yeah. I might
anyways,
have to check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. When's the next? When are you going to come out to Atlanta?
When I get control, right now I'm in the money mode making, so
Yeah,
I got to get that money made first. I still got money from last year that ain't come in yet, and you know, and plus the oldest employee, the senior employee I got started in September last year, so and he's doing pretty good. So, and then I got one of them quit. Then I hired two more say employees or helpers, and I'm going from there. So
yeah,
and then trying to build from there. It's a constant build, um, start over, build situation with us. So
yeah.
we're trying hard to build a team, but it's been difficult.
I don't think anybody has an answer for that yet, but definitely know it's not money.
No, well, we
You
quit
could pay
paying the big
somebody,
money.
you could pay somebody,
Yeah,
all the money in the world, and they're still going to show up drunk or still show up late
yeah,
or
yeah,
take the truck home when they're not supposed to.
and it's not just in our business. It's like every business, even
Yep.
the big Fortune 5 companies are having the same problems, and not more or less like we do because they got way more control than what we got. But um, I don't know. I think some guys don't want to think out the box or don't have that ability to, and don't have the experience that I've learned over the years. Um, I just don't think there's a lot of people out there that's wanting that. I think we've gotten so used to technology that everybody's just wanting to touch a phone and a computer, and that's it. And then look how much look how much time people spend on their phones all day long and stuff, and lose focus on what they're doing. So it's a big issue, um, and it's not
I,
going away.
I heard somebody say the other day that as far as whatever the newest generation is, Generation Z or whatever it is, um, millennials or whatever, that it's built into the way they think about jobs that I can, I want to be happy. I really
Yeah.
want to be happy. And if I'm not happy, I'll just quit and get another job.
Well,
As opposed to where back in the
yeah.
day, it
You
was like,
weren't happy.
I got this job. I'm gonna stay here for 20 years. My mom had one job, for 50
Yeah.
years, and that's the way a lot of people is. A lot of people were rather. But the flip side to that is as a small business owner, I could never afford insurance for my employees. I never could do that, so that didn't keep them there. And with the
Yeah.
cost of insurance, shit, my insurance went up 4 times from Obamacare,
Yeah.
and I couldn't keep the policy that I had. So I think small stuff like that attract people to the business, and the fact that they could just go, I'd rather be happy, and I'll just quit. I'll just call it a day, man, and I'll go find another job. I think it's an employee market. I really do.
Yeah.
To where
Well,
they can quit
there
and
was a
go
couple
somewhere else.
big companies that opened up and was doing a lot of hiring, and two of my guys went there and over the end of the summer, and they didn't work with me about 2 or 3 months at most, and then they got a better job, with the insurance and stuff. And
Did was it a big company in our industry?
no, it's
Something else.
totally different industry.
Yeah. I got a feeling that there are a lot of people out there that could care less too, um, about what industry, what they're doing, whatever. I mean, I know quite a few friends that don't work where in their degree, but
Yeah.
people who don't even have a degree, like they could care less. It's just what it is. It is what it is. If I'm happy, I'm gonna stay there and work, and if I'm not,
Yeah.
fuck it.
Yeah. Well, you do what you got to do. Luckily we're small, so it don't really affect us that a lot. So if you're a bigger company, and they call it company culture, whatever they want to call it, whatever they want to rename something, it is what it is. And if you got 4 or 5 trucks and you're a mid-sized company, that really hurts when you can't keep employees because that affects your pricing, your how much you get done, and if you got a lot of jobs on the books, you got to be constantly getting done. Where I can kind of manipulate mine, but I'm on the job site, which is not totally good either because you want to be able to leave the job site. Which I'm able to send this one guy out and do stuff, and he can call me on the phone if he has a question. I can talk him through it.
Yeah.
So I'm able to be more flexible. Where the end of part of last year, I was not flexible at all, and I was losing service calls. Well, I weren't losing because there ain't nobody servicing in my area, and I was able to get around, eventually get around to them and get them done, get them out the way. Then I got a bunch of new ones to do. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but you're lucky. But
yeah,
I also think that we're all lucky. One of
yeah,
the, I can't really say who it is, but one of the people that are coming to the classes, they're not even in the industry. They actually work for a property management company.
yeah. Well, that's
And
cool.
yeah, I think it's cool too. But that just goes to show you. So, anyways, so one, they're trying to do it in house, and two, when the young lady called me, she's just like, "This is so needed. We really do, right? We've been relying so much on AFA to do these classes, once every 3 or 4 months, and
Yeah,
it's
but
just happened so much
them
quicker."
classes are not for repair work.
That's true. I've
I've never
had.
been to them classes. I mean, but my also observation on it, it's just to get a certification through the AFA, but it really,
Yeah, and
it's
they
not
and nobody
good enough to say, "Hey, well, you can service these gates now." That you
Yeah,
just
nobody
installed.
recognizes it. And that's the other thing with those types of things. I've been told with the AFA, like you can't even talk about your product. So that kind of sucks. And then
Well, that's
two,
stupid.
um, the people that are teach, so you have manufacturers teaching it, which is not a bad thing, but I continue to be proven that it can be bad. There was something for the recent training that I went to that was very unsafe, and they're teaching this to people. But the second thing is I continue to get feedback from some of the instructors that aren't from the manufacturers that work for AFA directly. I was told that the one instructor said, "I haven't looked at the test in 5 years, so I don't know what you don't know. So
Yeah,
y'all can just start asking me questions." It's like, well, fuck, dude, if I've never installed a gate, I don't know questions to ask you, you
yeah.
know?
Well, I just don't like you. It's an entry level,
Yeah.
and that's all it is. And that's basically all these shows are to me is entry
Yeah.
level, and other than look at different products and stuff, which is great. I have no issue, but there's a bigger depth that it needs to evolve out of it. A a better training system. It was like, okay, now I took this course, and now I need something more than that, and that's what we've been advocating for. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think,
you're the only one I know that really dives into this technical stuff. There's nobody else out there diving into this technical stuff like
well,
you have.
one, why would they? But two, um, I'm just seeing it. Uh, so I get a lot of phone calls, right? And this is probably something
Yeah.
that people don't recognize. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn because maybe I'm not doing some people a good service. But I routinely get phone calls from a lot of them are fence companies, but from different fence companies and gate companies asking why we do stuff, where can I get more information? I noticed that you had brought this up. What should I do now? What multimeter should I buy? And what test equipment? I saw you bought
Yeah.
this $200 piece of test equipment. Do I need to buy that too in order to test loops? And so on and so on. And it's just if
What I don't like about the industry, we work blind with our eyes closed and our hands tied behind our back.
Well, I
That's the problem. And it's like, all the information I've learned is trial and error and talking with my distributor because I got a damn good distributor that's very knows all their shit. And I know just about much as they know now, but they know their stuff because the senior guy worked on gates for 30 years and he's done everything. And they do a good job at East Coast gate operators.
give them a shout out. East
Yeah,
Coast,
they do a good job with
ACG.
Roxanne. Roxanne, she's the leader of the pack, and Ron, he's one of my buddies in the music industry too. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
he is the master, I think, out there. He can pretty much he's done everything. So if I got a question I don't know, I'll call him directly. Like, hey, got a question? You know, I may know the answer, but I just need another source of an answer, so I make sure that what I'm thinking will work, and then he might give me a better idea. So, but that's how
Well,
that works too. So that's a process. So that's a 20-year process basically.
I've said this for the longest time that one of the reasons why I buy from Automatic Gate and Equipment Supply or did was because of their customer service.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough that they were kind enough to give me good pricing based on the volume that I did, and their pricing is really, really fair. But it's not always about pricing for me. And the other
No,
thing is too, is I found that most distributors
I'm charging about the
will
same.
well, the one about the same. I do notice that Control Products has some advantage of being a dealer, lift master, and all that stuff. But considering they're owned by the same company, but
They all use the same formula, and once they get you in there, they're gonna raise the price up a little bit on the next
yeah, ain't
one.
that the
So
truth, right? Yeah. But anyways, that's why I've been trying to work with distributors and tell them like, look, you need to be your customer's partner. And that's the reason why I bought from Automatic Gate and Equipment Supply. They had people from the field, people that used to work for US Automatic Gate. And I could call them up. I could call them up about shit that I didn't even buy from them, and they would help me out. And why aren't more distributors like that? Much less have people in the office that can help you. Because exactly what you said, I just drove an hour and a half away. I'm putting in this board, and I just want to get your opinion on it. Does that sound like I need to go, or would you also recommend putting in a new transformer as well too, or whatever it is?
yeah,
So yeah, but you can't do that with a lot of places.
yeah, and it's just there's so many products, so many gate operators, so many different things you can use out there, and you don't know what they can do uh,
Mm.
unless you've installed it and worked with it. And then after you install something, and then you have a problem with it, that's when the process starts where you better start remembering and writing down or log it down database where this happened whenever this wire was hooked up here and it didn't work. But then they got two or three wire diagrams and you got to choose which one you got to use for a card reader or a keypad or whatever and learn from those mistakes. And then, it's a process of trial and error sometimes. And then there's guys out there that are technically solid and they may not need that. But then some of them guys have a lot of issues too with simple stuff. And and
Well, you're
sometimes
talking
that's where when I come into play and I say, no, do it like this. And then they look at me like, oh man, that's right.
Well, look at how long you've been installing KPW5s and this constant pressure override you just found out about, right?
Yeah. And I
And
probably didn't read the book because I don't read the manual. So that's probably one reason.
I mean, why can't we be honest with the manufacturer and say that specific thing? Like we're not reading them. The only time that I'm reading the manuals, for the most part, on products that I've already worked on is when it's swingers, and I need to know that actuator arm spacing or dimensions, and I need to know the articulating arm dimensions and spacing. I mean, that's
Well,
it.
yeah.
I don't memorize any of that stuff, so why wouldn't I look in the manual?
And another thing, the manufacturer's got your email, they got your phone number, they got your mailing address. Why are not they communicating with the installer? So hey, send something out saying, hey, this wireless keypad can override your gate operator if the photo out fails or something like that. Send it out. Let us know. You know, you can call us stupid for not reading the whole manual, or whatever. I can take that part,
Yeah.
but send out the information. I mean, you want to make more sales. You want to have less call volume on
I'll,
technical
I'll
calls.
I'll tell you who does a good
Send that
job of that
information out.
is Viking Access, not Viking Gate Operators, but Viking Access Equipment. They send out a monthly printed newsletter that tells you, has like a section just for tips and tricks, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Tips and
And
tricks.
yeah, I mean, I thought to a certain extent that's the whole point, what we're doing here, and
Yeah,
to find that we don't get as much support as we should is definitely disappointing. But those that do support us, it's overwhelming how much they will help us. But it is what it is. I don't read out the manuals probably as much as I should, and
yeah.
that's just
That
the way it goes.
I think that's where I make my mistake too. Is because I always brag about I don't need the book, and I don't. But um, you know, it's good to get that knowledge of reading and stuff. But here's the thing: we're not reading books no more. We're watching the phone. We're
Yeah.
watching videos. Everybody's going on YouTube and looking up. And LiftMaster does the videos of their product when something new
Oh,
comes out. Now, let me ask you a question. What about the Techno barrier arm? Have you heard anything about that yet? How's it been working? People installing them? Have you heard
so
any news about that?
I was at um, my local distributor, Southeast Access Technologies. I think they have a office in Florida, and then they have one here. And I asked Hope, which is a young lady, I think she's in the marketing department over there, and she said that they are not having, or not. She didn't say they're not having. I think I asked her how's the Techna doing, and she said just fine. So I have no reason to doubt her in that. But so no, I have not. I put one in, and we had other issues other than it. Uh, I won't go into. We'll talk about it privately.
Yeah,
But
it weren't basically the machine. It was,
no, no, no. It wasn't the
yeah,
machine.
yeah, yeah,
It was just how we installed. So, anyways, when you were talking about they do videos and stuff like that, yeah, they do videos, and they talk about their new stuff. Um, but yeah, uh, so I haven't heard anything about it. I'm going to go back to what I've said, and if a manufacturer gets upset at this because I've said it, that's their problem, and there's tons of reasons for it, but you're going to have big shoes to fill because the mega arm tower, which is in essence what this is replacing, just
yeah,
fucking worked. So you're now going to change everything, and to change the handing, I have to pull half the shit out and put it back in. And I know it's only 2 bolts, and now we got a breakaway arm, which I'm glad for. I think it needs to be done. I don't know whether it's been implemented right or not. I know some of the other breakaway systems are not so great. But it does turn the gate operator off. They have a lit LED arm that comes with it from the factory. The top of the box is lit. So it's got plenty of benefits, but I go back to these manufacturers that are designing this shit, they're
Yeah.
not designing it for the technician in mind. When you look at the control board, and I haven't looked at it since the last fence tech, so this has been 13 months ago. When you look at the control board, again, they have surface mount LEDs, and they have the where the fucking input is and where the label for the input is not even next to it. So it's like putting the closed photo eye LED over here, but the input's over here. And then the way that they have it is just unique. It's got a screen and a couple of other things, but these manufacturers that are building these control boards are not talking to gate techs whatsoever. And they're cool and they look good and all that stuff. But hell, our automatic boards, one of my favorite boards. If you look at the damn board, it's got the LEDs are not next to the, oops, sorry, hold on one second. The LEDs are not next to the input, right? So
Oh,
I've got all of these LEDs right up here, and they're not next to the input over here.
yeah.
And that I just don't understand why. If you remember the old Elite boards, you could literally, I've done videos on this. You can literally look at it from 50 feet away and know
Yeah.
pretty much what it's doing. But this ticks me off so bad. And then on top of that, the way the LEDs that they use nowadays, the surface mount LEDs, which these are not, but some manufacturers are, when you look at one, it bleeds over into the other. So
Mm.
it's hard to tell from a distance what LED is actually going off. And then like FP disable, do you know what FP disable is?
Yeah, it's kick pedal. Foot
Right, it's
switch.
the foot pedal, right?
Yeah, foot switch. Yeah, yeah. That
So
got me one day too.
oh, it's got me a thousand days. But like, why is this shit up here not labeled properly? It's just we've been through this. Don't you guys have this figured out by now? Um, I just these
Well,
people
it's
that are building these things, they're not
yeah.
building them for us. They're
Well,
building it.
they're building it for to make money, so that's the way that's
Okay.
done.
Well, you I can't complain about that. That is capitalism after all. Is building
Yeah.
to make money. But anyways, at the end of the day, any manufacturer that wants to challenge me on the boards being bad, I'll bring out an old SL3000 board and we'll bring out one of these boards
And
and I'll
also,
show
they
you.
should make all these boards with an app where you can use your phone.
Yeah, I think high security has that. I don't know what
Mm.
Max's functionality is. However, I do know that you're supposed to use a USB port. This is you got to use a USB to see the transactions. It's gonna happen here sooner than later, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're
um,
working on it though.
they got to be.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
Optic photo wise, the Optic virtual loop, you program with your phone.
yeah, that's nice. The ones that I used, you had to program with the dip switches and all that
Yeah,
shit.
the old one.
The one, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean that is what it is. It's definitely a nice feature, and all that good stuff. But anyways, at the lower level of designing these control boards, they're doing a horrible job. It's not, and I'm not just picking on Automatic because you and I both like this red board. Have you had
yeah.
any problems with it?
Nope, not a problem.
Haven't had one problem with it. It's got the 7 day
Nope.
timer. It's
Nope.
got 4,000 transactions, I think, something crazy like that.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot. It can do a lot more than what I'm doing with them. So
yeah, so it's a great board, but there are a lot of improvements that need to happen when it comes to these, especially the way
well,
that they design them just for day to day use. So,
you could just put it in the suggestion box, and we're gonna throw
fuck
it away.
yeah, I'll get right on that.
We
Well,
love
anyway,
automatic though. We love automatic. I like automatic. I push it very hard because they're easy to work on for me. They got the kick pedals where you can manually
foot pedal.
release it when if the gate fails or whatever happens, and they're solid operators. So Yeah.
And if they need to, and if you need the Wi-Fi app and all that stuff, you have Next. You can use that,
Yeah.
just like you can use it on a US automatic. You can use it on any gate operator. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that bad boy does that I don't think people know. But that foot pedal gets me out of a lot of problems. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah. I rather have the foot pedal. You know, I sell the 300. The only thing I don't like about 300 is it doesn't have the kick pedal, but the 350 does, and it's a more expensive operator. But the kick pedal on it, man, because I don't want my customers going out there unbolting it, pulling that lever up on the camshaft and whatever you want to call it, picking it
Yeah.
up. You know, it just
Okay.
creates a
Oh,
problem.
let's see.
Shoot, sorry about that.
Oh, you good?
Um, yeah, what the hell? Just something just happened.
Like the Lift Master what the CL24, what is it?
CSL
Yeah.
24.
You know,
The
you got to unbolt it, or the Viking R2 or
oh,
whatever. You got to.
don't get me started on the LiftMaster. Yeah, this 350 one's expensive, right?
Yeah, that's what I install if I can, and the customer can afford it. That's the main one that I put in. And they
Yeah,
got
this
another one. They got another one where it's on the bottom. I think it's the 250, and it has a kick pedal too.
250.
Yeah.
Oh, 325? No, that's
Yeah, it
not
might
it.
be. Yeah, 325. It's got a
The
kick pedal
arm
on
and
it.
everything, but it doesn't have a foot pedal
Yeah, they
that
do.
you, oh,
No,
it
they
does?
don't. They don't. They don't.
Yeah.
You're right.
No,
They
I think
don't.
you only get that in the that
350.
325.
Yeah.
Man, I get it that you're trying to replace the Door King, whatever, but I just am not a big fan of this design.
No,
I
I'm
just,
not either. I don't like it.
I
It's
don't like it either. But yeah,
it's just hard to work on them. You got to get down on the ground and crawl. I mean, jeez.
the
Yeah.
LiftMaster housings for the CS for the CS L24
Mm-hmm.
is got to be same thing with the CSW has to be one of the worst housing designs ever. This housing design is just garbage. I
Yeah.
don't know why anybody who's in the gate operator division was ever allowed to talk them into this.
It's
Uh,
cheap,
or
cheap, cheap. How can you save me money?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I just think one of the garage door guys said, "You know what? This is what they need. If you're a gate technician and you're not taking off that back panel as well too, so you could see that rats and all that stuff are living up in there, or to see if your
Yeah.
idler pulleys are
Mhm.
damaged or whatever, then I guess you deserve exactly what you get. But this is boo boo. The other thing about this is you can put this on wrong. You can put it on wrong and still get all the screws back together. And
Yeah.
that, when you put it on wrong, as opposed to repelling water, it actually receives water. And that's just horrible. Now, I'm glad that we just did this. What's this?
What? Which one?
I ain't never seen this. The SL100. So they're going to jock everybody else's style and start going with these smaller gate operators. Dude.
Well, long as the gearbox is good, I don't see a problem with it.
Well, I see a problem with it right when I have to put my access control transformer up in there, or I've got to put a new receiver in there. Or put third-party loop detectors in there.
Yeah. Well, you probably won't be using that for that. That looks like
Okay.
a
Let's,
residential
oh, you think
apparatus.
dude? That ain't just residential because that's fucking 1,500 pounds. Look at this.
To me, that's residential.
It says 2,000 pounds, 2,200
They
pounds.
just put that on there to make it. Hey, buy
No,
this thing.
LiftMaster would never do that. That LA 500 can push 1,800 pounds.
Yeah.
LiftMaster would never lie to you.
No.
No. Yeah, they're just trying to ride the wave of these smaller gate operators that
It's all
are,
about on their side of things. It's all about sales. So
yeah, well,
yeah.
they're going to sell or not sell it. I mean,
Who
right now you've
knows?
got PPA, you've got Nice, you've got all these other manufacturers that meet the same quality of standards according to LiftMaster. PPA meets the same standards, Nice
Yeah.
meets the same standards as these gate operators do. But look at that. Look at that board. Are you
Wow.
excited about that?
What is that?
Apparently it's the board.
So it's simplified. Looks like.
Yeah, we already know what happens when you simplify stuff.
Yeah.
You go to install it on a project and
Well,
you go, oh,
that's for the newbie. That's
I
for the
guess
guy
so.
that never installed one and say, "Hey, here you go."
Yeah, that's the robo swings and robo slides, which I would never install. Yeah, well, interesting, man. Well, look, dude, I think we've beat the shit out of that one. Um, but yeah, it's got my Q capability, so that's a good thing.
And of course, it comes from LiftMaster. It'll have that automatically.
Oh, look at that. Two 12-volt batteries in series, an EMI filter board. So we got that. That's interesting. It definitely looks different. So we'll see how that goes. Shielded
Yeah.
twisted pair wire, because of course they only put a 500 milliamp output transformer on it. Mag lock, entrapment protection. Does it even come with the photo eye?
Yeah, it has to. It has to come with
It,
two
it
of them.
doesn't, it doesn't have to.
I mean, it has to come with two safety devices,
It just has
open
to
and
come
close.
with the input for two safety
What?
devices. Maxes
Yeah.
don't come with them. Yeah, well, that's pretty interesting, man. So, anyways, yeah, I think we can call that we've talked about gate operators enough. So, 2,200 pounds, rack and pinion. The
Yeah.
only problem I have with that rack and pinion is the second that you bend that gate, you're gonna have to start
Yeah.
working on that rack again.
Oh well, so that's the way it goes. You got to buy a new one.
There you go. All right, man. Anything else before we call this a day?
No, I thank everybody for tuning in. For the one person that tuned in, that's great. And
Oh yeah.
we need y'all support out there. I know we ain't been doing a lot of shows. We've been extremely busy with our lives, and Michael's been in Georgia with his classes, focusing on that, and I've been focusing on my business and then my secondary business of DJing and doing music, and we're living our lives. And plus, I mean, ain't like we got a whole lot of support out there, so we're gonna do what we want. So, but you can watch these videos on YouTube, Facebook. I think you got. Do you got it on LinkedIn too?
Yeah, I
Or,
do have it on
yeah.
LinkedIn.
But who in the hell looks at that shit? But um,
You'd be surprised. See,
I know
I got it on
that's for
LinkedIn, but I
people
have,
that wear shirts and ties. That's not for me. Which I
well,
do got. See, I got my suits behind me.
where are you going with your suit?
Oh, I wear suits when I DJ.
Oh, do you? Did you see the
Yeah.
flyer? I was going to see if you knew. Oh, where's that? Uh, oh well, I guess I ain't got it.
See, I'm a true rock star. I'm living in my camper with on the road at White Lake, North Carolina. So I'm living the dream, baby.
Well, the problem is that the you ain't got a camper next to me for that. That's what you need.
Well,
That's why I was going to show you this
oh
one.
yeah, that was on the fence
Uh,
cruise. I wish I
okay,
was.
I was about to say, do you remember where that picture's from?
Oh yeah, yeah. I use that picture in my promotion.
Oh, do you? Who
Yeah,
took that picture?
look at me. Hey, I posted that picture at White Lake, and they were like, "Where's this at White Lake?" And I had to respond, say, "This is not at White Lake."
Yeah.
They were like,
Shit,
"Where's this
dude.
place at?"
I may or may not have had clothes on at that point in time, so that's for y'all to figure out.
I believe that's when you fell down on the floor.
Nobody ever fell down on no floor. Calm down. I never seen that happen
But the
before.
fence cruise is coming up next week, and
I don't know.
yeah, it's
Um,
coming up on the 26th. Because I was going to go, but
oh,
I
that's
had
right.
to change my plans because my mom had a little stroke right Thanksgiving, and then I was like, I really didn't feel like we needed to go right at the moment, and then I got to manage my business too, so it didn't work out for my situation. But I'm gonna roll it over to next year and go on a cruise. So, but it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And
Yeah, I wanted to go as well too, but I scheduled a class. Um,
we're focused on our careers right now, man.
is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're focused. We're in tune.
Yeah, I
And I want to give out shout out to Sean King, Mr. Fence Academy. He's got an academy coming up in March, and I'd like to see some. Well, I won't be out there, but um, see some posts about what they're doing out there and stuff. So,
what the
and then they
hell?
got the FWA. That's gonna be the next fence show coming up in Las Vegas, and then they got demo days in Florida.
Man, they got all that stuff going on.
Yeah. So
That demo days one won't be that easy to find. But yeah, so Mr. Fence Academy,
yes,
uh,
sir.
you can
His
go
team. He has
to.
a great team of people, and it's not just the people in that photo. It's the people in that academy. They're just great people, and they'll have a good old time and learn a lot and talk about their stuff that they're going through in their businesses and stuff, and also get to see stuff about marketing and how to run your operation and stuff. It's very good information. And I learned a lot, and actually I've used it in my music business. I'm also in another business. I'm in the news business on Facebook in my
Oh
local
yeah.
county. I'm into politics now.
Oh great.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it. Where
doing
you at?
videos of the candidates. So
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if you noticed that, but I
I
got
haven't seen
another
it.
Facebook page called Bladen Live Entertainment and News.
Oh,
And
entertainment
what
and all
yeah,
right.
so what I do, whatever band is playing in Bladen County in my local county here, I promote where they're playing at, and then if I'm able to go there, I'll interview one person out the band or a couple people, and then we got the primary election here in Bladen County, North Carolina, and so I've got involved in politics, and I'm promoting the politicians that are running for office, all of them, and I do little videos. I
Oh,
did
good.
that one last night. He's running for District 22 um, NC House. So that's
Did you post that on Two Smooth Operators? Because it's the first thing that popped up.
I think I actually did, yes.
Okay. No,
but
maybe not. Because there's my shit too. Mine just popped up.
and
So
there's
yeah,
another one. Go back. That one and the one up top.
yeah.
That one and the one up top are running against each other.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, and so and that's another thing too about your business. You need to get involved with other things.
Do
So I
you?
get to meet these people, and you don't never know where them leads go to. I told them I'm in the gate automation business, and they say, "Well, we got two gates that are not working." Well, bam! I just picked me up another job. Like I can do another one. It'll take me 6 months to get to it, but anyways,
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're looking for to meet some dude at demo days, there's go. Follow for more relationship advice.
yeah.
So you
But
can, I
also,
guess, do whatever they're trying to do there.
yeah,
And then Mr. Pence Academy retreat, March 19th through the 23rd, in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
yeah.
And then
Gatlinburg's an awesome place, man. It's cool. It's a mountain town. It's awesome, man. It's beautiful scenery. It's great.
Next week, my class, 24th and 25th. Gonna do some gate operator stuff. There's the picture of the classroom. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
who
need to
that
share
is.
that on the fence association and the professional fence thing that Sean has too. We need to put
That'd be
that
nice.
out there because that's where them questions are popping up on.
Yeah, I saw. I guess they either got kicked out of one before or something like that. Because somebody called me and said, "Hey, um, they're asking for you on the fence thing," and pretty much Brian Fredrickson's really the only fence one that I do.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Well,
here's
there's
the
only two of them now, so
they
all the
probably.
rest of them are small and not really doing nothing. Uh,
Oh,
you
gotcha,
got Sean, you got Brian. Um, they're
gotcha.
the two big ones.
Oh, that's right. This doesn't go out of Miami. This goes out of New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans.
So, anyways, there's the number right there, 1-800-819-3902, extension 83165. Ask for Megan. And it is from the 26th to the 2nd. I didn't even really look at when I did my class. I didn't even really look at it. I just started. I have to get these classes done so I
Did
don't look
you
at what
share
else is
that
going on.
post on YouTube video? I mean, on Two Smooth Operators podcast.
Which post is that
Your
on the
class. Yeah,
uh I don't know that I did.
you need to so I can share it to these other um,
Okay.
platforms.
Oh, that's not going to work as well as I thought.
Also, you got other podcasts out there about in the fence industry. They don't really talk about gate operators, but we're kind of all related. So you got Gatekeeper podcast. Um, you got
Be
Fence Guy
followed.
podcast. You got Dan Wheeler. You got Everest. What's his first name? Mark. Is it Mark
Who?
Everest? Everest, the Everest guy.
Oh, Joe Everest.
Joe Everest. I don't know why I was thinking Mark, but Joe Everest. And
I
then
haven't seen him promote that much anymore. I got an interview with him that I need to get uh, going on. Yeah, there's Joe Everest at Joe Everest. I don't know if that's still his big channel. I think a
yeah,
lot of these guys, no offense to Joe, I think a lot of these guys are trying to like appeal to different audiences. So,
yeah,
uh,
they're trying. Only
so they're doing a lot of contractor stuff, or they're going back and
yeah,
forth between contractor stuff.
yeah, they're doing what
So
they can do to survive. So um,
there's some information about channels. Just FYI, if you think
well,
there's money, if you think there's money in the podcast business, Joe's got 88,000 subscribers. We've got 200 and something, and
yeah,
that's probably what he's pulling in. Not
and
affiliates or anything like that.
I
That's
tell
all
you
just
one
estimated.
thing that I learned off of Joe's podcast is how to prepare your business. Now he had a couple guests on there about how to prepare your business, set up your LLCs and all that, and say your
Oh
father
yeah.
has a business and you're taking over and you need to, that was really good information for me. And I watched that one probably a couple times just to, because that's what I'm going through. And, at the end of this year,
You
uh,
on your own?
well, I won't be completely, but we're going to go ahead with, I'm going to go ahead with it. But till my dad says I'm done. He went on a service call Thursday and Friday that was 3 hours away, and him
Yeah.
75 years old, and he took two people with him.
Oh snap! What the hell is this? Uh, what's Dan's podcast? The
Dan
fence.
Wheeler's Dan Wheeler's podcast, I believe. I don't know if it has a name or not, but he's got a
Yeah, it's
good
got
one.
it's Fence Industry
Fence
Podcast.
Industry Podcast. Excuse me, Dan, but he's cool dude, man. I got to meet him, and man, he was just a good old dude, man. And he does a lot of stuff in the fencing industry, and they talk a little bit about gate operator stuff too. So We'll give a
Yeah,
shout out to them.
they. I know that they've been. What's that? I know that a lot of these guys are really pushing the fence tech and AFA stuff like that. I think that.
Yeah, and
I
you know
think
what?
they're.
They should.
I think they're putting. Yeah, I mean they're in the fence industry.
Yeah.
I think AFA is trying to do something that they've been lacking for a long
Well,
time. So
yeah.
they spend a lot of money sponsoring
I've
these
been
guys.
keeping up with what they do on Facebook because I live a boring life at nighttime. So,
Yeah,
and I think the AFA is really stepping it up because they're pushing more stuff out here on Facebook and they're using these guys too for that stuff. And that's what they need to do.
well, their revenue is doing according to their tax returns. The revenue is definitely increasing. So they're doing that. I don't know how Fence Tech actually turned out. I can't get these guys to respond to any of our podcasts, so I'm sure that hopefully somebody from somewhere will maybe get to them and maybe ask them if they could
Well,
be
I
on
could
a
probably reach
podcast.
out to them. I could probably reach out to
Yeah, I
Fenced
reached
Out
out to McKay
podcast
and
or
a
Billy's
couple other people.
podcast, Gatekeeper. I really want
Yeah,
to go
well,
on one of their shows one day. You know.
well, you never know, man. So let's talk about some gate operators with anybody that's willing to talk about it, because that's some fun stuff. I mean, shit, we talked about stuff you weren't 100%, you hadn't learned yet. So,
Yeah.
all
But
right, man.
it's endless. It's endless
Well,
stuff to learn.
yeah, it is endless, and when you like it, it's fun. So, all right, man. Tell everybody in North Carolina I said what's up,
I will.
and maybe you might see me sooner than you think.
I hope so because we need to do some videos together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get some of that stuff out there.
Yeah, I
And
just
it,
uploaded a bunch on our channels today,
yeah,
pictures and videos. So,
and we need
all
to
right, man.
throw a party. We need to have like a prom of everybody. Just fuck the damn business shit.
Where would it be? Atlanta or Charlotte?
We'll, we'll do it Myrtle Beach.
Oh, dude, take me there. I'm ready to go.
We'll do it Myrtle Beach because I got to hook up with some places there, but we got to pay for it. So
Yeah, we need to do our gate school at Myrtle Beach.
they did one a couple years ago in Myrtle Beach, the AFA. I think a smaller one. I didn't hear nothing about it, so I don't even know what happened or anything. I know they did one, but I don't know what the deal was on that one. So, and I know Door King did one in Wilmington at a golf course, but I didn't hear nothing about that on Facebook or nothing. So,
Yeah,
Mr. Reynolds, I think he's still the head man of that. So, I don't know if they did anything on that, but
yeah. I went to their class here. Um, I think my certificate got lost in the mail, but yeah.
hey, Door
Story for
King,
another.
send that certificate to this man. He's overqualified. Go ahead, send him all the certificates he needs.
Yeah, right. Well, look, man, another good show. I think that's a lot of stuff, man. We need to get somebody. If there's any video editors out there that want to get paid to edit these videos and clip them down, that'd be great. I tried the one that's on the Restream platform. It didn't. I didn't really like it. So I guess we're going to try Opus Clip and see if that works, and then
Opus clip.
get some more
Opus.
stuff out there.
Yeah, it's
All right.
another
Well,
way
the
to get
dogs
20 or
barking.
$30 out of us every month. So, oh well.
Yeah, yeah, that's always fun. Well, the dogs are barking, so that means it's time to go. So you're gonna hit us off with some Too Smooth
Who let
operators.
them dogs out?
You gonna give us a going away song?
Thank you for tuning in to Two Smooth Operators Podcast. Your hosts, Michael Brooks and Robert Evers. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Also, tune in next Sunday, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Thank you very much for watching another great episode of Two